This is Corinne, and today is her first chiropractic treatment. Let's see what that looks like. We started off with a consultation to see what's troubling Corinne. Alright, let's pause right here and go over what we've learned so far. Corinne's expressed that she's been experiencing rigidity in her low back, her hip, and her neck for several years. So the next thing we want to learn is how these symptoms affect her day-to-day life. Alright, so we've learned that Corinne used to participate in half marathons. She's very passionate about running, but over the years, her symptoms have prevented her from training or sustaining any type of training. And when it comes to the rigidity in her neck, some activities have been affected, like at work, or if she's driving, she just has a difficult time looking over her shoulder. Now we're going to transition to some tests. As I'm doing a stress test on Corinne's hip, it's preventing them from going into external rotation. And then when I push her femur in, there's some discomfort in the socket itself. Now I'm testing the hamstrings elasticity, which is preventing them to go into hip flexion. Now we can assess the neck using similar tests. These tests are to determine where I want to treat. And I'm assessing the lower portion of the neck, and that's where I find the most rigidity. So we're going to start the treatment there. I'm going to have you wiggle your toes for me, and I'm just going to add some light pressure.
Oh.
Alright, this is an example of a treatment/adjustment, and we were able to remove the tension and restriction in Corinne's lower neck. We still have to do the other side because we want to make sure there's no tension on either side. That way we can establish an environment that promotes flexibility and reverse that cycle of rigidity. I'm going to do this side next. Wiggle those toes for me. Good. There it is. Let's have a look at what treating the low back looks like. Now there's restrictions in the low back just how there are in the neck, so we're going to apply some pressure to remove some of those restrictions.
Oh.
Go like that. Okay.
Wow.
And we're going to decompress the hip next.
Pull, okay? Here we go. There it is. There.
Oh. I felt that in my lower back.
So the objective of the hip adjustment is to decompress the hip. You have to imagine your body weight and gravity putting pressure into that hip socket or that hip joint and constantly compressing it. So we want to reverse that movement by doing some traction on it. And we actually managed to decompress the back as well with this adjustment.
So what did you think about your experience today?
So I've had just limited range of mobility for a long time, and I haven't had the ability to really stretch my back or crack my back or do any of those things that most people do to kind of relieve some tension. And as somebody who's a runner and an athlete, it's challenging when you feel tense all the time. And I guess I was worried that I would come in for this interaction and that nothing would work, and it would just be like, oh, you're just really stiff, you're stiff. To say that no, that's the case, and it felt great.
What would you say to somebody who's never been to a chiropractor before?
I thought it was pretty amazing. I didn't really have too many anxieties around the experience of coming in for my first chiro session, but it was something that I just didn't know what to expect. I like that you walked me through every portion of what we were doing, and you gave me a good warm and fuzzy feeling about what each next step was. You brought attention to things that I guess I was aware of, but not really fully aware of, the issues with my limited range of mobility and motion. And after that first adjustment, I already feel pretty great. So I would definitely be coming back.